Every few years, a government announces a digital payments revolution. A new app, a new wallet, a new system. And every few years, it quietly dies. But India did something different. In 2016, they launched UPI. Today, it processes over 14 billion transactions a month. More than Visa and MasterCard, combined in many metrics. So what did India get right, that the US, UK, and dozens of other countries got wrong? Let's go back to first principles. To understand why UPI succeeded, you first need to understand why payments are hard. At the most fundamental level, a payment is just a message. I authorize X rupees to move from my account to yours. Technology is cheap. It's the infrastructure of middlemen built over decades. Most countries tried to build digital payments, but made one fatal mistake: working within the existing maze. They built apps on top of broken pipes. India asked, what if we replace the pipes entirely? Infrastructure should be public. That's not innovation. Fragmentation wearing innovation's clothing. India made payments a public utility, not a private battleground. That's first principle 1. Design for the median user, not the average. India's median internet user in 2016 was none of those things. It looks simple, but simplicity at scale is extraordinarily hard to design. Most payment systems fail because they're designed for ideal users. UPI was designed for real ones. Act 4, First Principle 3, align incentives correctly. Most payment networks charge transaction fees. That seems logical. You need revenue to run infrastructure. But fees create a perverse incentive. Merchants avoid digital payments for small transactions. Users reach for cash when the amount is under a certain threshold. All QR codes. All UPI. When you remove friction and cost at the same time, adoption doesn't grow linearly. It goes vertical. Behavior change needs a forcing function. In November 2016, India made 86% of its currency illegal overnight. Demonetization was chaotic, controversial, painful. It made not using digital payments actively inconvenient. People who had never touched a smartphone payment app were suddenly in ATM queues around the block. And there, someone would show them UPI. And it worked. Right now. On their phone. For free. Crisis compressed what would have taken a decade into 18 months. Now, this doesn't mean governments should manufacture crises. But it does reveal a deeper truth. The best infrastructure waits at the moment of maximum need. The answer is the same everywhere: incumbent capture. In countries with mature, profitable banking systems, the existing players have every incentive to block a neutral public rail. Credit card companies in the US earn $100 billion a year in interchange fees. Why would they support a system that charges zero? In Europe, PSD2 tried to force open banking. But it was designed by committee, implemented inconsistently, and sandbagged at every turn by banks who complied with the letter of the law while violating its spirit. India's advantage wasn't technology. India's advantage was institutional freedom. Because Indian banks weren't globally dominant, they couldn't block reform. Because India's payments market was mostly cash, there were no incumbent digital players to protect. The disruption cost the incumbents less because they hadn't yet captured the market. This is a classic innovator's dilemma applied to nations. So here's what we learned in first principles. 1. Separate the rails from the apps. 2. Public infrastructure. 3. Private competition. 4. 2. Design for real users, not ideal ones. 5. Radical simplicity scales. 6. 3. Align incentives for ubiquity first, monetization second. 7. 4. Be ready when the forcing function arrives, because it always does. 8. 5. Incumbents are the biggest threat to infrastructure progress. 9. UPI isn't a payment story. 10. It's a story about what happens when a government treats access to financial infrastructure as a right, not a product. 11. And it's a blueprint. 12. Not just for payments. 13. For identity. 14. For health records. 15. For land registries. 16. The question isn't whether India's model works.